Hi, welcome to the Forest of Arden. My name is Chris Ryan. Today we're talking all about the topic of wrist angles. We're going to be discussing why it's so important that we focus on this and actually what you need to do to ensure that you improve your golf game. So, welcome back to another Your Friday. This is the video series where you can get involved, have your say, have your question or your topic answered. If you would like to get involved, then please post a comment down below with your question, with your topic, and I will be picking a couple to film some videos on going forwards. Today's video is in a response to a YouTube comment from Andrew Brown, who is asking all about wrist angles. It was quite a broad comment question. He just basically said, can I talk about wrist angles, because it was something that confused him and he wasn't exactly sure about this topic. Fantastic question. Again, this is something that I think can help a lot of golfers out there. Number one, better understand why wrist angles are so important, and then number two, understand exactly what you need to do in your golf swing to control the club face with your wrists. So we're going to split this into kind of two sections of the video. Number one, we're going to explain why wrist angles control club face, and then we're going to explain why we like that lead wrist to be fairly flat. And hopefully the two concepts together will make a little bit of sense and help you maybe just improve your practice and your play. So we're going to take my golf club here. I'm just going to take my normal left hand grip. Sorry, we're not. We're going to take my left hand on its own first, okay? Now, if I was to put my arm in front of me this way and I rotate my arm, you can see how my palm would face more up towards the camera, more down towards my feet. Okay, that's a fairly simple motion. We can all do that, hopefully. Once I grip the golf club and I take my starting position, if I said to a golfer, point the club face to the left, or point the club face to the right, so close the face or open the face, this is basically what they would do. So if I was to sort of open the palm of my hand a little bit, you can see how palm facing more the camera closes the face, and palm facing more to me closes the face. So effectively, I'm rotating my arm in this fashion, which is closing or opening the face. Absolutely fine, no issues there. There is a slight issue. This would be what we class as wrist set. Now, most of the golfers that I see, pretty much bar none, have got some wrist set in their golf swing. So when they start to make this movement back, they create some wrist set here. So if we were to do that wrist set at the start, so I'm just going to set my wrist here. Notice where the club face is pointing. It still feels like it's pointing towards my target. I know the toe is significantly higher than the heel, but it feels like it's still pointing towards the target. Now when I move my arm in those two different movements, so I close the club and I open the club, I still have the ability to change where that golf club points. But something else is happening. The golf club is physically moving by quite a bit. You can see how the club head is physically moving around my body. Whereas when we didn't have the wrist set, the club face or the club head wasn't moving. So there lies our problem. At setup, we can control the face angle with a rotation of the arm. If I try to do that in my downswing, so here's my downswing, I've got some wrist set. If I try and close the face by rotating my arm, look what happens. Yes, I've closed the face, but what has that golf club done? It's gone very much out in front of me. If I try and open the face, it falls behind me. So we now can't really use the same way to control the face as we could down at setup, because if I try and do that, close the face, open the face, yes, I'm achieving that, the face is opening and closing, but you can see just how that affects my golf swing. So if I was the golfer on the way down trying to close the face by rotating my arm, the club's going to go very much out this way. I'm then going to have the golf club moving very much across the golf ball, and I have to jump out of the way of it. And this is where, for me, we do see golfers struggling with the plane that the golf club is on the way down, because they're trying to control the face through rotations of the arm, which they could do down at setup. It's the wrist set that we have which makes that more difficult. So that is why we have to use your wrist angle, because that is now going to control the club face without physically moving the golf club. And that's why we have to use wrist angles as opposed to just some forearm rotation. So there's our first concept, hopefully ticked off. Now, the second concept is we're going to take my lead hand on the golf club again, and I'm just going to take my setup and I'm just going to raise the club up so I point it at the camera. And you can see how hopefully the leading edge is fairly vertical. We're going to class that as square. This would be closed, this would be open. Notice how when the club shaft is vertical as I view it, I have got some cupping or some shape in my lead wrist. We call that extension, where there's some of this movement. Now, hopefully we'd all be sort of fairly happy with the idea that when I make contact with the irons, I would like a slightly descending blow, I would like the handle to be forwards, I'd like the weight to be forwards. So if I would like that handle to be forwards, but I still need that golf club to be fairly square, watch what happens. As I push the handle forwards and keep that club face nice and square, notice what's happened to my lead wrist. It's now gone from its extended position to what we now call a bowed or a flexed position. So me moving my wrist into this flexed position has enabled me to keep the club face still vertical, yet achieving this handle forwards position. If I was to simply move my handle forwards but not change my wrist angle, the club face would open. So if my handle is forward, the flexing or the bowing of that lead wrist is what is going to bring that club face back to its neutral position, which is why you will see lots of golf instructors, lots of golf instruction talking about trying to flatten off this lead wrist and trying to almost arch or flex that lead wrist. Because if we do that, we are then able to deliver the handle forwards, yet still get the golf club pointing at our target. If we see a golfer where at the top they've got this lead wrist extended or cupped, then we would generally see one of two things happening. Either that golfer delivers the handle forwards, yet the face is way open and the ball goes this way, or because that lead wrist is so extended, to hit the ball straight, they very simply have to deliver the golf club with the handle back. And you can imagine neither of those are particularly desirable when you're out on the golf course. So hopefully that little video explains a little bit about why wrist angles are so important, and then why you see so many videos, so much instruction about controlling those wrist angles. Because if you can get that lead wrist flat or slightly flexed, then it enables you to do so many good things on the way down that we tend to see from the better players. The only slight disclaimer here is that your looks, if you like, your lead wrist position that you're after may differ slightly if you have an excessively weak or an excessively strong grip. But I don't really want you to be massively concerned with that in this video. If we can just understand why wrist angles are so important, and then why we actually need to flatten out that lead wrist through our golf swing in order to hit the ball straight, I think you're going to be in a much better place to hit some good shots out in practice. Right, let's see if I can demonstrate what I preach with this shot. I've only got a 7-iron, but you'll see that my lead wrist is actually pretty extended at setup, but hopefully when I get back to impact, it will be in a much, much better condition and enable me to hit this ball where I want. Okay, wrist angles, absolutely very, very important. Something that I would say plagues a lot of golfers out there, especially if you're the golfer who struggles with those high, weak shots. There's a very, very good chance that it can be something to do with your lead wrist. If we can understand it, we can practice it, we can work on it, we can hit better shots, improve our scores, and the golf game becomes a lot more fun, I can guarantee you. Thank you very much for watching. As always, the usual stuff is down below. You've got a comments box down there, you've got a like button, and you've also got a link if you'd like to subscribe to the channel. Please do, it makes a massive difference to me. 4 videos coming each and every week, hopefully helping you play some better golf, enjoy your golf, and hopefully making it a little bit more fun. Thank you very much for watching. We shall hopefully see you back here again soon.